How do you respond to someone who says that religion has no impact on their life? Well, a couple different things to say on this. First, I would say that I guess that's not my primary argument, right? I don't think that you need religion or you need God or you need Christianity because it simply impacts your life or because it meets some felt need you have. No, my argument is that we need God because God is true, God is real. Jesus is the only way. And so I want to say first and foremost, this stuff is true. That's why you ought to embrace it. That's why you ought to believe. That's why you ought to embrace Christ and put your trust in him, because he's true and he's real. And so this kind of question, I think, avoids the truth question, and the truth question is what is primary. Now, there might be a second angle we could go at this question. Someone's talking about religion having no impact in their life. Well, you might want to just ask, what do you mean by that? And then ask, what are the implications, if that's the case? So what do you mean? It has no impact on you personally? You haven't experienced the impact? I guess you might want to find out what their experience with religion is, and maybe it hasn't been with Christianity. Maybe it's some other religion, and that religion hasn't had an impact on their life. And of course, then that would lead the conversation in a different direction. So someone who's a Mormon, a Jehovah's Witness, or a Hindu, or a Muslim, or whatever, might say, well, religion didn't have an impact on my life. Well, I certainly don't want to defend those other views. And so this is where I would come in and say, well, yeah, I wouldn't expect them to have a huge impact on you because I think they're false, all right? They're false religions. And so the conversation might go that way. But you got to get some clarification there. But there's a second issue in this question that they're probably not even aware of, because I'm guessing they're probably going to mean kind of in their personal life. But I think then we could also respond by saying, well, how would you know if religion's had an impact in your life? How would you even know that? And here now, what I want them to think about is maybe the impact of religion, not just on them individually, but on cultures and societies. Because I think we can make a strong argument that Christianity is what has given rise to Western civilization and all the wonderful things that we've gotten from Western civilization, that Western civilization has given to us. And so one example might be the rise of science. We can make a strong argument that this is motivated by Christian theism. And so then the result is modern day science. Well, has modern day science impacted your life? Of course it has. Well, what's the cause of modern day science? What gave rise to that? We make the argument that was Christianity. And if that's the case, then guess what? Religion has had an impact on your life. And so that's another angle that we could approach this question from. But certainly I want to say, whether you felt the impact or not, this stuff is actually true. And actually, because it's true, then there will be an impact on societies and on individuals.